Bonjour mes amis, et bienvenue au Pendu dans la Lune. Hello friends. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you know that this is my series in which I use Terre de Marseille or antique Italian decks or Terre de Marseille adjacent Swiss decks, for example, to answer a question that I pull out of my larger weekly spread on living the intentional life. So I do a weekly large spread asking the question, how can we live more intentionally in the coming week? And I do that reading, and then I pull one question out of that spread, and I use that question for this shorter reading based on more traditional tarot decks, more older decks on the continental tarot system. So that's what I did this week. And this week's larger spread was about making choices. It started off with the Two of Swords. And if you haven't seen that video yet, I highly recommend watching that first and then watching this so that you get a sense of where my question came out of, what was the context for this question. So if you want to see that video, I will put a card up here for you to click on, and you can hop over to that video, watch it, and then come back to this one and take a look. So the question that I pulled out of that spread was, how can we explore the unconscious for our evolution? How can we explore the unconscious for our evolution? And why did I choose that question? Well, there are two reasons. One was the Hierophant card from the larger spread had an indication of being sensitive to the body and bringing the unconscious up into the conscious sphere, becoming more consciously aware of what is down. Well, down is not really the best adjective for preposition. Down? It's down. Yeah, adjective. No? Okay, grammar is gone. I teach English. Did you know that? Anyways. Down is not appropriate. It's not the appropriate direction. But we're going to say it. The unconscious is down there and spirit is up there. Those are meaningless things to say. However, we want to become of what's aware in the unconscious, bring it up into the conscious. Now, the second reason that I chose this question about exploring the unconscious is that in the area of mind of that spread, we had indications of, again, diving into the unconscious to discover what's there and then flowing out into the light. So there are a lot of hints about unconscious and contents of the unconscious. And so I chose this question. Well, then how do we explore that unconscious? If we want to consciously give attention to it, in addition to working with our tarot cards, which certainly helps, how can we explore the unconscious for our evolution? Because that was the purpose, to evolve into the beings who will have an easier time, or who will know the choice that we want to make, the choice that is best for us, which might be different from the two choices or three choices or more that we feel like we're facing in the Two of Swords card. So how do we do that? How do we do that work of exploring the unconscious for that purpose? So I will show you that question, and then I will show you the cards that came up right now. This is a beautiful deck, but it's a little difficult to photograph. So I had to manage the light so that these images on this rather yellow background would be more visible for you in the photograph. I hope it was clear enough for you to see. So we had from left to right the 5 of Wands, the 10 of Swords, the King of Swords, which is interesting, and I'll tell you why that's interesting in a little bit, and then the 6 of Coins. Why do I have 4? I generally do a 3-card reading, but you notice that that King of Swords is looking off to the right, and so I wanted to know, what is the king looking at? What is in the king's conscious sphere? Coins, discs, right? Just happen to be coins. The king is looking at the 6 of Coins. So that's what the king is paying attention to, giving attention to. And we're going to read from left to right. It seems like that's the way the cards were laid, and that's the direction that these cards seem to be wanting to be read in. And it's interesting. When the 5, as I was shuffling the cards, as I was shuffling to lay them out, asking the question, how can we explore the unconscious for our evolution? I was thinking, wouldn't it be funny if the 5 of Wands showed up, my playfulness card, have a playful attitude? And then what was that first card that came out? Was the 5 of Wands. The 5 of Wands. Now these cards are from a Besançon deck produced by Il Meneghello, and I will have a link to the Il Meneghello shop if you want to hop over and look at their selection of beautiful cards, excellent cards, diverse Italian and French and Swiss decks, beautiful. Solobusca I think is there too. I forget, maybe not. Let me know. Is it there? But this deck is there. And it's a beautiful, beautiful deck. Again, it's a little tricky to photograph, but in person, it's easy to read. And the first card was the 5 of Wands, as I kind of thought it might be. So how do we explore the unconscious? We don't do it with a hammer. We do it with a playful attitude. So the 5 of Wands is playfulness. It's experimentation. Saying that there's not one clear way to do it. We want to experiment with exploring and accessing the unconscious to find our way. There's not one cut and dry answer to the question. And it could require taking creative risks. So creative risks. Part of that playfulness and the Fire of Wands is creativity. Yeah? The 5s are a little bit risky. They're playful, but they could be risky. So a creative risk, being willing to take a creative risk as we try to move in the direction of exploring the unconscious. It could also be new desire. Now, the Wands are the card of passion and desire as well. A new desire. We might need to rekindle the flame of interest in exploring the unconscious. We might have that curiosity that we've had in the past, that desire to uncover and explore what lies within us that might have died down. So it might be time to rekindle it, to find our new desire. And to have the energy to go beyond what we have already known to date. Which means having the energy to go beyond what we think in our conscious mind, to go beyond and into what we call the unconscious. It takes energy to do that. And this card is reminding us to have to find that energy. Not expecting to be able to do it without that energy. It takes energy to do that kind of work. It's also the card of initiation into unknown domains. And what could be more unknown to us than our unconscious? And the it may require some initiation to move into there. An initiation process. Oh, the unconscious may not want to open up to us right away. It may want us to go through an initiation process before it allows us access. If that makes sense? Does that make sense? In a sort of Jungian kind of way? And it could be part of exploring our dreams, could be the initiation process. Many things. It could be automatic writing could be our initiation process. Intuitive drawing could be our initiation process. And it's evolution towards unexpected depths or larger dimensions, right? This Five of Wands is evolution. We come from the fours of stability and structure, and we're breaking out and we're evolving to unexpected dimensions and depths. And what else? That says unconscious to me. Evolving into the unconscious, which is, in Maslow's terms, self-actualization, or in Jung's terms, individuation. That's how you do it. Five of Wands. And so we move into the next card, the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords, which is not a happy card most of the time, especially in the Rider-Waite-Smith decks. The Ten of Swords is not happy, but it does show these swords breaking into what looks like walls or boundaries, right? Now we got walls of barriers around it, very little space, but these two swords are breaking in, weaving through the swords, but breaking in. And this is a card of agreements, compromises, certainly, but it's a card of expanded perspective. We need to have an expanded perspective in order to do the work of movement or exploration of the unconscious. It's also effectivity in mental life. What is effectivity? It's the emotions. Having our emotions and our mental sphere working together. And we want them to work together in our ability, in the task of exploring the unconscious, because the emotions give us indications of the directions that we're going and what we're perceiving, and then we use our intellect to understand what it is we've perceived, right? So that affectivity in mental life is what's going to allow us to mine information from the unconscious. It's also an androgynous thought. It's not only male, it's not only female. It's a combination of aspects of self that we want to be able to move into the unconscious. Now, if we're all anima, or if we're all animas, we are not going to be able to get into that initiation process. We want to move in as androgynous beings, as being fully male and fully female as we enter into the unconscious, which requires intellectual maturity. And that's what the 10 is, intellectual maturity and harmony with the heart. It's also the desire to acquire a complete picture of reality. Now, this card asks us to find a clear picture of what's there, which is what we're doing as we explore the unconscious, right? And so how do we do that? We got these two things. We want playfulness, we want the Ten of Swords, the clarity, to become the King of Swords. The King of Swords has all of that in their possession. The King of Swords has head over heart, but they're combined. And it's in that attitude that we want to move into the unconscious with discipline and truth. We're playful, but we're not playful like a child out in a playground that has no direct purpose. Yeah, we've got a purpose, we've got a direction, we've got something we want to move into playfully. So the King of Swords is able to do that, has the discipline, has the desire for truth, and the ability to speak truth that we want when we plumb the depths of the unconscious. Also, the King of Swords is skillful at handling words and concepts, which we want to have when we do the work, right? And we want to be able to go beyond thought into the the unknown. The unconscious is the unknown, and it's the King of Swords who can move in that direction, into the unknown. Being able to have a clear ability to think with the emotion incorporated, being sensitive to emotion, and still go beyond that. And so, the King of Swords, what is he looking at? He's looking at the Six of Coins. This is what's in his mental sphere. Six of Coins, what is that? Six of Coins is enjoying the physicality of life, the creature comforts. Also self-care. The King of Swords wants to have an eye towards self-care and comfort, because this can be difficult work. It can be work that is tiring. We might find ourselves in a tiring or a tired state when we realize that we want to plumb the depths of our unconscious. I mean, that could have been the trigger to our starting this work. So we may want to give attention to our self-care in the Six of Coins. Generosity to self. Taking pleasure in our physicality, because that helps us to ground as we plumb the depths of the unconscious. Being grounded is helpful, and this six can help us. It's a beauty in the daily life, because we don't want to only plunge into the unconscious. We want to be present to life as well. We're not going into the unconscious to avoid life. We want to remember the beauty of our daily physical lives, which could be gastronomy and sensuality and enjoying the things that we do in life. And that can help feed us and give us the energy to do the work. We want to invest in the things that we love, which is this card as well. Invest in the things that we love. Realize that we have an abundance of resources. And have a positive outlook. That will all give us the grounding to do the work. And that's what the King of Swords wants to maintain in their mental sphere, that we want to do all these things. We want to take care of ourselves. We want to have pleasure in our physical surroundings. We want to enjoy living life so that we have the energy and the ability to dive into the depths. And that's how we're able to explore the unconscious for evolution. Beyond just therapy, for evolution. Does that make sense? If it does, hit the thumbs up button. Will do. Hit the thumbs up button. That helps YouTube know that you and other people might be interested in what you just saw. Also, if you are still here and you have not subscribed, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the alarm bell so that you get information and notice of when I upload videos. I usually do about 3 a week, or 2 a week, I'm sorry, sometimes 3. I did 3 this week. And comment below. I would really love to hear from you. What do you think? Does this make sense? Does it not make sense? Let me know. And friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.